it!
War is just a little bit like, like a squirrel gathering nuts for laying up for the winter. Now, see those hills? We take one hill at a time. We gather it up. We pull it to ourselves, and we take that hill. And for every hill we take, we are gathering our whole winter store of food.
That doesn't motivate me, sir.
Ned, now, if we don't take that hill, they're going to come over here and take our nut. Your nut and my nut. And we're going to die. Do you want that, Ned?
No.
My heart is a lonely hunter that hunts on a lonely hill.
Picture General Myers in a gown of pure white, floating across the bridge, surrounded by groomsmen.
I got him! Focus! Close your eyes. Breathe. Take a big breath. Bigger, Ned. Big breath. Good. Now imagine you're sitting at the edge of the serene pond. Okay. The smell of my award-winning lilacs wafts by.
Come on, you pansies! Charm!
Bye. Nice rock. Safe rock.
I got him!
Fudge.
Sade? You left Sade behind?
See, funny thing, Ned here drove off before he could get in.
Who's gonna organize the winter dance?
I don't know.
You don't know. Maybe you should be thinking about these things when you're fleeing the field of battle without your combat buddy.
Yes, ma'am.
Who's gonna run the bake sale? You two?
Ma'am. What a perfect opportunity for a rescue operation.
A rescue operation. You couldn't take a 9-foot bridge without killing 8 of your own men. Get out of my sight.
You were tough on him, baby.
I can't plan our wedding by myself. Do you remember how stressed I was before Sade started helping? Do you?
Shh, baby. Burnside's right here. The press always loves a rescue operation.
For one man.
Think of the headlines. No man left behind. General Myers attempts a daring rescue.
You really think they'd call me daring?
The prisoner, sir.
Why'd you attack the bridge? We were trying to secure a venue, sir.
A venue? For a surprise attack.
No, silly. For the wedding ceremony.
You mock me. Let's see how smart you feel once McDougal and McGregor here are done brain raping you. McDougal, administer the personality test.
What indigenous animal do you most resemble, and why?
We'll throw tons of men at him and hope to win by attrition.
What about the enemy tanks? I mean, our boys got slaughtered by them at the bridge battle.
We'll just send out more men. Maybe they'll clog the tank treads.
We're gonna have to think outside the box on this one.
Having problems with enemy tanks? Have you wondered if there was an easier way? Well, there is. Introducing the new Ghost Rapid Attack Vehicle. A high-speed hovercraft that will have your tank problem eliminated in no time. So order the Ghost Rapid Attack Vehicle today.
Hooker, how many can we get?
If we cut back on the ice sculptures at your wedding,
We're not getting rid of the ice sculptures. It is my special day, and if you it up, I will put this gun in your mouth and plunge it.
Johnny, calm down.
What about the Needler, ma'am?
Hooker?
The Needler?
He's the only one who can kill a tank.
Churns my stomach to do this.
But honey cake.
Burnside, I told you I want to feel like a princess. I need Sade. So get me the Needler. Pick your two best men.
Us? Sade's capture was our fault.
We all deserve second chances, Ned. Sometimes it's hardest to give them to ourselves.
But the Needler, sir, he's crazy.
It's the fourth quarter, the game's on the line, and I'm throwing you the ball.
I'll drop it.
Boomer. You guys will be perfect.
I guess we're combat buddies then, huh? I was an orthodontist before the war. Boomer, that's an interesting name. What ethnicity is it? Irish? I'm going to kill you.
Wow. Can we have a picnic?
All right, Martha. Get down on your knees and scrub this latrine.
We have a latrine?
Aye.
You do your business in here?
Of course.
How do you get out of your armor?
Same way you get out of yours.
I don't know how to get out of my armor. I've been wetting myself for over 2 years.
Yeah, me too. Boys, the latrine looks like it's brand new.
You see this? This is shiny. Shiny, bad. Y'all see shiny, y'all know what to do. Just like I done taught y'all.
My hand is shiny. Do I does it to my hand?
No, just everything else that's shiny and moves.
Well, hell, Don over there, he's pretty shiny.
No one that wears our colors. Just separate, moving and shiny things. Now y'all straighten up. It's time for some target practice.
Who are they?
Let's sneak around.
Okay, let me put my safety on first.
Ned!
Why ain't y'all shooting?
They ain't flying yet.
Well, we're minding our teaching, like you said.
But they shiny. You shoot things that are shiny. Not us.
We're looking for the Needler.
What business y'all got with him?
We need him to rescue Sade.
You know where he is?
Yeah, we do. We could tell y'all. But why should we?
It's for a good cause.
We ain't much to care for no causes, but we do like a good race, don't we, boys?
Let's get a race on.
If you beat our race team, we'll tell you. But if you lose, we get your woman there.
Deal.
Boomer, what woman? Wait, what woman?
Latrine's done.
Oh, wow. This place looks great.
Dougal. Looks like someone hasn't cleaned their armor in a while.
I don't got much time.
Grooming is something that you need to make time for. Let me wax it for you.
I don't know about that.
You look like an angel, all soft and white like a pillow.
My heart is a lonely hunter that hunts on a lonely hill.
That's cheating.
I'll make a nice husband. I'll treat you right fine. Beautiful like.
The Ghost is a high-speed hovercraft equipped with 2 superheated plasma cannons.
Just want to take you to my cave and make. Maybe you can help me make. Cause all we got is dirt floor.
Boomer, you did it! You're my hero!
What are you doing?
Hitting the prisoner.
I didn't say you get at the prisoner.
Why not? How come you always get to?
'Cause I'm in charge.
Sounds like we have a bit of a misunderstanding.
Only one with a misunderstanding is him.
It ain't fair. He's always getting to cane people and break thumbs and draw and quarter. I get to do nothing.
Quit being a sissy.
Now, McDougal, you should listen to McGregor's feelings, and if you're talking, you're not listening.
It's like the time we were going to do the water toucher. I was all excited to try something oriental, and I come down here and he's already done it.
Dougal, do you hear how McGregor is feeling?
Like a prat.
McDougal, that is a terrible attitude. Now I want you to look at McGregor and tell him why you did that.
Come on. I don't let you torture because...
Look at McGregor and not me.
Because I don't want you getting involved in any war crimes.
Really, McDougal?
That's his cave.
Should we knock?
You broke my tea set.
We need your help.
I do not help people who break my tea sets.
General Myers sent us, sir.
Myers? Matilda Myers?
Yes.
Tell me, when she asked for me, did her eyes smolder with desire like this?
We didn't speak with her directly.
Well, a damsel in distress is a damsel in distress. When do we leave?
Have you killed that prisoner yet?
No, sir.
We did set him to cleaning the latrine.
We got a latrine? Why didn't anyone tell me? I've been wetting myself for 2 years. Piss has damn near almost reached my respirator. Listen!
Sorry, sir.
Why is your armor so shiny?
Shade waxed it for me, sir.
What?
Waxed it.
You can do that?
Sade has taught us all kinds of new things, sir. He taught us origami and how to plant a bonsai tree.
And ribbon dancing, sir.
Great way to relieve stress, Captain.
Ah, for the love of Mary and Joseph!
Major Burnside, we did it! We did it!
Ned, you can't even screw this up properly.
But, sir, you said...
Burnside, I need... Wendell?
Matilda, my nimble peach.
Wendell, we have a tank we need you to secure.
Matilda, the only thing we need is a floor and some hand lotion.
You won't speak to my fiancée like that.
Fiancé?
Wendell, you're here to rescue my wedding planner, and that's it.
I see. But it will not be for this wedding planner. It will be for all the times I touched the quick of you.
Maybe you're just ignoring all the other ways people say I love you. Has anyone baked anything for you lately?
Is this a prison or a therapy clinic? Oh. If I don't see your ass guarded in a perimeter in 2 minutes, I'm gonna have you slogged. Your stay of execution is ended. McDougal and McGregor, get behind him so I can use 1 bullet instead of 3.
I'm so sorry. You shouldn't blame these men. I encouraged it. I just saw a lot of pain here, and I had to reach out a caring hand.
What kind of soldier are you?
Not a very good one, I must admit. I try to help out with morale, though. I organize events, like the winter dance.
You have winter dances?
Oh, every February.
I've always thought we should have a winter dance. I mean, it's winter all the time here. Christ, all we ever do is patrol and recon and guard. A man needs a bit of dancing every now and then.
What all this place needs is a few blue streamers, and it will go from drab to dazzling in just a snap.
Nothing like a battle to get a man reflective, eh, Ned?
I'm so scared, Needler. Every battle, I do something wrong. I get Sade captured, I kill the medic. I think Burnside was right. I am a screw-up.
We all make mistakes, Ned.
What happened between you and Myers?
We were lovers once, but we had a misunderstanding.
Over what?
My affection for Mexican whores.
I guess love and the army just don't mix.
Sailors may have a girl in every port, but us army men only have each other. Should we find some strippers?
Coming up on Access Army, who's making fashion waves in 5th Division? Why maroon armor is the new red. But first, here's our own Flint Blackwell, live on Planet Sidewinder.
Thanks, Chad. We're with General Myers of Army Group South, who is about to attempt a daring rescue. Let's listen as she briefs the troops.
Now, I know some of you take comfort in inspirational words, so I thought I'd share with you a saying I hold dear. Never turn your back on the ocean. That's all. Guns ready! For right! For might! For Sade! Where the hell are they?
It appears General Myers has made a disastrous mistake.
There's no mistake.
Private Ned. Get in that base and tell the enemy we're out here.
Matilda, my tender tulip. I will accompany Ned on this suicide mission.
Pendle, you're so courageous.
Matilda, I'll go as well.
Burnside?
Yes, yeah, let's go, man.
I think we should go left.
I'm the commanding officer. I'll decide.
Then perhaps you should take the lead. Clumsy me. I seem to have killed Burnside. Oh, tragic gods cursing me with his fate.
Look, he's writing something with his blood. It was the...
Oh dear, clumsy me. I seem to have walked all over it.
Those were his last words.
Don't worry, Ned. I've committed them to memory. All right, pigs, hand over the wedding planner.
Stop that! Where's Burnside?
Matilda, my rare bird. It pains me to tell you this, but your dear Burnside has returned to the monastery.
Get out of here! You've been stuck! I do want to die alone! You'll kill us all! I don't care! God damn it, McDougal!
Is this heaven?
Look, shiny.
I believe my dancing partner has arrived.
What's going on?
It's just a drill.
Boomer, stop! Hand over Shiny!
How about instead of killing Captain Connor, you tell him how you feel about it?
I hate him!
And where is that anger coming from?
'Cause he's Scottish!
And?
My father was Scottish! He left me and my mother when I was just 6! I'll kill every Scot I come across, hoping it's my father! I see no reason to stop here!
You say you were abandoned as a child.
Yes, and I still remember his parting words. My heart is a lonely hunter
That hunts on a lonely hill. My son.
Dad?
Aye. 'Tis I, Archibald Connor. Can you forgive me, son? I know I wasn't there for you. Your fury must be terrible, I understand. But let's make an oath now to share our lives. We have so much catching up to do.
We do?
Maybe what you needed all of these years was a hug.
A hug?
And I can tell you, Captain Connor is a good hugger. I am.
Dad?
He's as thick as his mother.
Give my regards to Death.
Ned, you must take my weapon and kill the tank.
But I can't! I'm not a fighter! I'm an orthodontist!
Ned, killing is easy. It's loving that's hard. Think of it like your bullets. It tickles.
But I can't.
Well, lads, looks like it's all over but the shouting.
Captain, there's something out there.
Boomer, we were so close to a breakthrough.
Hey! It's just tickling.
It was an amazing battle, General. How do you think you and your men were able to turn it around in the end?
Well, in the end, it just comes down to making kills.
Ned, you're quite the soldier.
No, Boomer, I'm what I always was. A man. Just not one who kills. One who straightens teeth.
That kind of man is just as important, Ned. I think it's great that you found yourself.
Well, Sade, it's 'cause I have great friends like you and Boomer and the Needler. Of course, he's dead.
Maybe we should have that picnic.
Wendell.
This may be awkward timing, but Matilda, would you marry me?
Oh, Wendell. I'd marry your corpse.
squad-based action game with depth, like a shooter with depth, basically.
It's the most kick-ass action game you'll ever see on the Xbox 360.
Yeah, and that too.
I'm just saying.
I'm just saying.
Just saying. We wanted this over-the-top, in-your-face, blow stuff up action game, but we also wanted some strategy elements to it. So it really evolved over a long period of time into what it is now. You drop stuff in, it parachutes down, lands right in front of you, it's ready to go. It's fast, it's entertaining, it's still action-oriented, but it also gives a lot of strategic depth to the game. So it really kind of grew out of our sort of strategy roots as a company a little bit, but
it's funny because
evolved over a long period of time.
Yeah, and yet even that dropping stuff in was something that, we talked about a few different ways of delivering units to the player.
Yeah, originally we had like a truck pulled up and dropped it off, and it's set up, and like guys would set it up and get in the truck and leave.
Or you'd have to go somewhere and pick it up, and none of them were as visceral and exciting as the airplane flying over and dropping it off, and that sort of like became, after we got in the product and we saw how cool it was, it sort of became a lot of the inspiration around all the destruction on demand. The ability to get stuff when you want it, where you want it, to create big action, basically. So that would probably be as close to inspiration as I could think.
Cover me, I'm going in.
It's definitely not a historical game. The fact that it's in World War II is mostly coincidental. It's not it's not key to the game's existence. We're not sort of a history lesson or something you'd see on the History Channel or an A&E.
Well, we did say it was sort of Jerry Bruckheimer does Saving Private.
Yeah, that's been our sort of inspiration. I think Saving Private Ryan's actually the one thing, because the action scenes in that film are so well done. It's so intense. So yeah, what would I think for a lot of the projects, what would Jerry do?
Yeah,
has been our mantra. What would Jerry Bruckheimer? How would Jerry Bruckheimer and Michael Bay make this game?
Yeah.
A lot of our inspiration has come from other Hollywood sources like Predator, or Aliens, or Terminator.
Well, you mentioned Heat before.
Heat.
Yeah, that's a great
that kind of stuff.
A gun battle in the middle of Heat is something that's completely improbable. And yet it's sort of just probable enough that it doesn't throw you out of the whole thing. I think that's a line we continually walk on this with this game. Is we want things to be as big and over the top as possible, while not introducing sharks with freaking legs.
Yeah. It's not ludicrous. It's just it's just over the top.
Yeah.
Guys parachuting from the sky is like a normal thing in our game. So having that happen after you've died and sort of repopulating the world a little bit so you're not bored is one of the key components to the game. And we've also sort of factored that into the overall gameplay experience. Like, you're supposed to die. Really, it's not like a game where if you die, that's a really bad thing and that's failure. It's just part of the game, really. So, we certainly, I die all the time when I'm playing the game. And that's sort of the experience we've gone for, is it's not a game you're not going to overcome without ever losing a single guy. It's just not that kind of game.
What's funny is when you talk about sort of games that inspired this game, there weren't a heck of a lot of games that directly inspired us in the World War II category. But I use this a lot. The whole Burnout thing.
Yeah.
In Burnout, you die, by crashing or whatever, in say race mode or whatever. But when you sort of come back, you can sometimes even retain your lead, or maybe you'll just be in second place or something like that. It doesn't punish you unduly for making a mistake, which it's a game. It should be fun. We shouldn't, it shouldn't be so frustrating that it makes you not enjoy it. And Burnout is just one of those games where they've sort of tweaked reality in some really cool ways to allow you to get the most fun out of a concept that people have done over and over again. But it now is a really unique game in the racing category, and I'd like to think on the sort of World War II shooter category, that's exactly what we've done with the outfit.
Let's ride.
Call of Duty 2 is the authentic World War II experience, and we're the big action World War II experience.
I mean, if you're looking for that authentic, historical, methodical, fully scripted shooter, no one does it better than those guys. Really. Yeah. I mean, we're not going to argue that those guys aren't. It's not a great game. It's just not us. Right? I think people who want to play big action, in your face, explosive, fast paced, cool kind of things will be playing the outfit. and people who want to play the third instant, or this, I guess with if you count expansion packs, like the third or fourth iteration, or eighth if you count all the Medal of Honor stuff that came before that version of pretty much the same thing. Really well done and really well crafted, then that's kind of the game you're going to play. Yeah. I think we're going to appeal to the guys who bought Mercenaries and Star Wars Battlefront and Halo and those kind of games, not the guys who are buying necessarily. I think obviously we don't exclude those players, but we're not going head to head against SOCOM or or Medal of Honor or Call of Duty or those games. It's really kind of a different subgenre than we are.
Yeah, it's funny. Sort of one of our lines has been no military consultants were harmed in the making of this game. We haven't ever bothered to consult a military consultant because our game is geared around fun and what would be fun and what it's little things like, if somebody gets shot with a handgun in real life, they don't fly back 20 feet. But in our game they do, because that's your Hollywood impression of what should happen.
Yeah, even our physics, we call it Hollywood physics. Yeah. Real physics are not really that interesting to me because a lot of games tout how realistic their physics engines are. That's not interesting to me. I want Hollywood physics. When a guy gets shot by a shotgun, he flies backwards through the glass and falls 15 stories and lives somehow, right? Or when a car goes off a cliff in Hollywood, it doesn't fall straight down. It gets air and goes over to the next. It's like Starsky and Hutch or something, right? That's really what we wanted. We wanted that Hollywood experience, not reality. Yeah. If I want reality, I can go out and drive my car. Yeah. The original implementation we had, when you bought a vehicle, you had to go to a motor pool and buy the vehicle. So if you're all the way across the map, you had to come all the way back to the motor pool, buy a vehicle. Now you have a vehicle. Now if it gets destroyed, you got to come all the way back again. Buying emplacements was difficult. It felt more plotting than it does now. But I think the systems we've come up with for how you do that and how fast it is to activate the destruction on demand. After half an hour of play, you guys, I saw a lot of people fumble with it at first and it'd be a little strange because it is a new game mechanic. But after 10 minutes of play, everybody's like, boom, I want new guys, I want a vehicle, I want a thing. It's really fast. It takes a second to buy it in placement and put it down and get it where you want it to. So it really keeps the action up. And you notice too, all the things you can buy are action oriented. You're never buying anything passive. It's always a machine gun nest that can mow guys down, or anti-tank emplacements that can blow up vehicles, or big tanks you can drive, or airstrikes that come in and blow things up, or more guys to put in your squad. There's no sort of passive engagement of the player. You're never buying a mine that's just a barbed wire, which originally we did have, and it just didn't work. They weren't action enough. A game like Mercenaries that has destruction, right? Really cool game.
Great game.
You can go through a level, and the first thing I did when I was there, I jumped in a tank and ran into a gate that was 3 inches thick, and it stopped me because everything destroyable meant that building and that building over there, and that building over there, and these 2 buildings, but nothing else. Not the trees, not
and
the...
to be fair to Mercenaries,
you couldn't do it, right?
Yeah,
it's not their fault that you couldn't do it, but that's a game that took destruction as far as you could have on previous generation of systems. Whereas in our game, everything's destroyable. There's no way we could have done that. A lot of the graphical features, certainly, like the level of normal mapping and detail and all the stuff and texture sizes. Number of units is a huge one. Yeah. We're pushing sometimes 40 plus units at a time in a big battle. There's no way we could have done that previously. We would have had 6 guys fighting each other.
And even when we set out to do to draft up our live goals and what kind of multiplayer we wanted in the product, I think it would have been a lot harder for us to do it. Either on the previous Xbox or on the PS2 or something than it has been on the 360, because Microsoft's gone out of their way to develop more of the live APIs as part of the Xbox 360 XDK than they did for the Xbox XDK. So a lot of the live features, they don't at all come for free, but they come a lot cheaper to the developer than they would have on the Xbox. So we're able to do cool stuff like co-op, 8-player versus, and split screen and system link and all that stuff a lot easier than we would have, and a lot faster than we would have on previous generations.
We started with this game with what we call time to first encounter, which is how long does it take for player A to start fighting player B. And our goal was to get it under 10 seconds. So within 10 seconds of starting a multiplayer game, you're fighting the other guy. So it's, and that's in a 1-on-1 game. In a 4-on-4 game, it's crazy. Like the moment you drop in, you're fighting. So the level of action is really intense, and it never lets up. Like the multiplayer, there's never a dull moment in multiplayer in our game. And again, that's because it's not like, okay, I know where all the emplacements are, I know where all the vehicles are, so I know, I've memorized this map, and therefore I know the route through it that I can take that the enemy's not going to shoot me. In our game, it's like, okay, I know this street goes around that way, so I don't have to cut through the middle to get to that strategic objective. Oh shit, he built machine gun nests here, they just chewed me up. Okay, I'm going to go this way. Oh crap, there's an anti-tank gun that he built over here. You never know what's going to happen, right? I mean, it's so dynamic because you can put the stuff where you want it. You just never know what's going to happen. And again, even the vehicles, you don't know what vehicle the other guy's using. Right? It's like
unless
you might see it, unless you see it dropping in, which you do a lot, but you might encounter a Jeep, you might encounter a tank with rocket packs on the back. Like you just aren't sure.
Yeah.
Everyman, urgent everyman, bring relief force immediately.
My name is William Henry Stahl, and I'm the creative director of the Full Spectrum Warrior franchise. And what I'm going to walk you through today is a very early build of Full Spectrum Warrior 10 Hammers. With this installment of Full Spectrum Warrior, what we were really looking to do was basically make this game bigger, badder, add more feedback, more player choice, and more replayability. So Full Spectrum Warrior is really at its heart controlling two teams, Alpha and Bravo, with this cursor system. If you played the first one, you'll be really familiar with this. It's relatively unchanged from the first game at the top level. It's a contact-sensitive cursor system, so I'll go ahead and order this team to the corner, and I'll order my Bravo team over here to this object. Here I'll tell my Bravo team to put them in a fire sector here. You don't actually give individual soldier orders to fire, you give them sectors, and within that sector they're responsible for picking up targets. One of the best new features of 10 Hammers is the ability to order one team from another. So from Bravo's position, I'm going to order Alpha up to this crate. I'll switch back to Alpha here, and from Alpha's position I'll be able to order Bravo, and it's really sped up the game's interface and sped up the game a lot too, which is great. Have Alpha take up a fire sector here, covering to the north. So here I have my first enemy, and this enemy will hopefully highlight some of the new AI that we've added to the enemy system. We've completely scrapped the scripted-based system of the old game, and we've gone to a dynamic system very similar to the original Army version. So I'm going to go ahead and order my team leader to throw out a grenade at this enemy, and I really have no idea what he's going to do. But the point being that he's going to do something, and it's going to be different every time. So here he tried to run, and that was a bad choice. So from Bravo, I'll go ahead and order Alpha up the street, up in this alley actually. And then I'll select Bravo and tell them to move. You'll notice a radial dial comes up from time to time. In Full Spectrum Warrior 10 Hammers, we've gone from a 2-order system to a 4-order system based on radial dials. So I have an enemy here. He's hunkered down behind this dumpster. With the Alpha providing cover fire, I'm going to snake Bravo up. And this is a classic FSW situation. Fire and support, fire and maneuver. That enemy is pretty far away, and he presents an interesting challenge, especially relative to the first game. He's not really in a position where I can flank him. So I'll switch over to my grenades, and he's just outside grenade range. In Full Spectrum Warrior, in the first game, there was really no other recourse. But now in 10 Hammers, I have the ability to switch to this interface, which is called Precision Fire, and order my man to take a shot from behind cover, and he can actually kill guys who are behind cover now with a precision shot. Another great new feature is the ability to scout. I'm going to order my lowly rifleman to check this object all by himself. He'll check it out, and if there's no enemies present, the rest of the team will come up and join him. If there was an actual enemy there waiting to ambush, he would turn and run back, and I'd know about it. So I'll have them cover up this alley here, and what I'll do is I'll actually tell my second buddy team to cover in this direction. Full Spectrum Warrior 10 Hammers is much more about buddy team control now, and I'll kind of make that point here, where I have this buddy team covering in this direction, and a great new feature now is that I can actually break these 4-man team into its component buddy teams. I can order Alpha Buddy Team 2 to this corner, and now I can do what I could never have done in the first game, which is I can have one team guarding both corners of a building with another team still in reserve. And I can continue to move this team indefinitely until I regroup the team back into 4 at some point when I feel like doing that.
Anyone see him?
So I seem to be surrounded here. And again, these enemies are all acting dynamically, so I really don't know what they're going to be doing or when they're going to be attacking me or from where. I'm much more susceptible to being flanked in this game than I ever was in the first game. So I don't really feel comfortable moving out from this position yet, so what I'll do is I'll switch to my Bravo team and I'll order them into this building. And moving into buildings is another new feature of 10 Hammers. And what the team will do is they'll line up and they'll check the door and they'll move up as a group, clearing the room in order. When the room's clear, they'll turn and guard the entrance in which they came. And I'll quickly grab my rifleman here and move him over to the window.
Anyone see him?
Now windows represent another ability to basically flank, whereas in the first game you could flank left or right. Now you can also flank above. And from the window I have a great position, a great fire position on that enemy. I'll move my automatic rifleman over here to the window and engage this target out in the street. You generally tend to move into buildings for protectional purposes, for gaining situational awareness, and for the advantage of the elevated fire position. Switch back over to my Alpha team leader here. I still don't really feel comfortable moving out of this alley, so I'm going to open up my reports menu, and here's where we have all my third asset support. So I'll call in my Bradley. Bradley is being a U.S. vehicle, and if you hadn't noticed, the actual infantry that I'm controlling here is a British squad. We are a multinational force in Full Spectrum Warrior 10 Hammers. So with the Bradley here, the Bradley you can think of as just a big, heavy, armored team with a really badass gun. I'll move him up the street here and have him engage, push back these enemies so that I can hopefully move out from behind the alley where I am with my British squad. I'll move forward on the 10 Hamir Bridge, or 10 Hammers as it's called, hence the name 10 Hammers.
Fighters south of the bridge.
Now the Bradley is not invulnerable. It's a misconception. It's actually highly vulnerable, especially from the side, to RPG fire. Right now I've come under some RPG fire here, so I'm going to quickly move my Bradley away from the fire. Switch back to my Alpha team to bring them up to support the Bradley.
Alpha team, move out.
So what I want to try and do is get my Alpha team up quickly to provide some fire support for that Bradley. Get him behind this prop. I'm going to switch to my automatic rifleman and have him open up with the saw using the same precision fire interface. And now that he's providing suppression fire, I got all my enemies lined up here ducking. I'll go back to my team leader, and with the same precision fire interface, I'm going to have him laser sight the bridge to access one of the last and best features of 10 Hammers, which is the ability to call in an airstrike. And I can do this anywhere at any time on anything in the game. I call in my AH-60, and he's just going to light up this bridge with fire. Now that I have the helicopter above, I can switch back to my Bradley and bring him underneath the helicopter to engage the enemies. And this whole sequence gives you a really good idea of how all these new controls and the new assets we have in 10 Hammers, the air support, the Bradley mechanized units, and the infantry work in concert to deal with the new dynamic AI and the faster paced gameplay in Full Spectrum Warrior 10 Hammers. And this is only 50% of the game. We haven't even talked about the multiplayer versus yet, which we've added, which is all brand new, which we'll be talking about in the future. And that's Full Spectrum Warrior 10 Hammers. Look for it early next year, 2006, on Xbox, PS2, and PC.
Full Spectrum Warrior, 10 Hammers. Take command.
monsters. Or the thing that lives under your bed. Do you believe nightmares are real? Are you afraid?
Of the dark. That fairy tale stuff always scares the crap out of me.
Most urban legends are based on fact.
Tell me about it.
Status report. No sign of desert, Captain. Maybe they retreated. Maybe? There are no maybes here, Lieutenant. They turned their spiny tails and ran away before the first dropships had set down. I want all the men assembled and ready to move up to the refinery. We're gonna take that objective and go home. But, sir, shouldn't we send up a scout team to... Yes, sir. Hell, my grandma's sewing circle could have handled this mission. So, anybody know the XO down there? Captain Book. He's an idiot. Hey, Sarge. What's with the ghost? You got me. Don't say much. They never do. Check this out. Hey, tough guy. What's with the loner crowd? Why don't you come back here and sit with the real man? Just move, Lester. Shut up. Captain Buck, I've got word from HQ that 3 dropships are en route with reinforcements. ETA is reinforcements? Yes, sir. 2 squads and a Black Ops unit. Black Ops? Hags, all we need here is blood, sweat, and the firepower of my Terran Marine Corps. Should I call HQ to cancel? Hell yes, Lieutenant. I've got this operation. You hear that? What? Who called in siege tanks? I want to know who called siege tanks onto my battlefield, Lieutenant. We ain't got no tanks here, sir. Mother mercy. Pull back. Pull back. Pull back.
say please. This is serious, boys. It sounds hotter than Georgia asphalt down there. Keep your eyes peeled. It's way too quiet up here. We got company. Hostiles on our 6. Put the pedal to the metal. Taking fire. Out hit.
wanted to get up, get my name up. But this battle's bigger than me.
On these streets, art is war. Rivalry is extreme.
You boys want to battle, huh?
And power is a conspiracy.
They're coming for you, Meg.
Yo, I put my finger to the wind to see if the train coming soon. It's rush hour, we pack them in until there ain't enough room. All through the tombs, riding under the surfaces. The spray paint alternative is getting up for Unimart, but they permanent.
This fall, some enemies you never see coming.
I'ma flip the whole script on them. Down for it?
Mark Echoes, Getting Up, Contents Under Pressure.
Hello, this is Jeff Brutus from Lionhead Studios. I'm the test lead for the Fable Lost chapters. I'm joined here by my testing compadre,
Ted Timmins. The two of us are now going to walk you through 3 of Fable's quests. Some you may have seen in the original, some are new.
The hero has just finished guild training, and so what you see here is an undeveloped hero. He has basic weapons, sword and bow. At the moment we're going to now make our way to the map table and pick up a quest, which is the Wasp Boss quest.
Now that we've taken the quest card from the map table, we're going to go outside to Lookout Point, where the quest will officially begin. Lookout Point's first region that you enter, having graduated from the guild. On the left here you'll see a trading outpost, where you can come here and change your hero title. So you start off with the basic chicken chaser, but you can work all the way up to gladiator.
Follow me!
Now we've had our formal introduction to the script from the villager, we're now going to follow him up the path. You can move around the world of Albion in many different ways. You can roll, you can run, you can walk, and you can be stealthy to help yourself steal things.
A massive wasp was just attacking the picnic area. The villagers are running out screaming. You're the only hero around, so you've taken up the challenge to go in there and kick butt, really. So this is the hero doing his thing.
I think that's a bit of an understatement, Jeff. I think he's going to whoop some serious wasp hide. The hero is now located in the picnic area. Upon entering, a cutscene starts, where the hero can quite clearly see that the villagers are under attack.
Yes, Ted, there seems to be a lot of carnage going on here, as you rightly said so. As you can see here in this lovely cutscene that was done by one of our lovely cutscene guys. Okay, the quest is now kicked off. Your first point of call is to save these poor villagers, and that's a good way of getting morale here. So as you can see, he's doing special, he's doing all his flourishing moves here. Yeah, there you go, collecting all the orbs so he can get his experience up, so once he gets to the point of levelling up, he can do.
So the hero's thinking to himself, now that was a walk in the park, but oh no, here comes the wasp menace herself, sending out her worker bees to destroy him. And the hero's going to fight them, or he can just go straight for her, but he chooses to get the extra experience from the little wasp. He's now using his lightning attack. There are 18 spells in all. There are 2 new epic spells specifically designed for the Lost Chapters. There's also bow combat, as you can see here. Again, she's casting more of her worker bees to try and distract the hero, but no, the hero's having none of it, just going straight for her.
Now, as you can see, he's just taken out all the worker bees so he can go straight for the mother of all wasps. Here we go. Lightning, a few hits with a few flourish moves in a minute. Here we go, look at that. Ah, and she's down for the count.
Yeah, I agree, Jeff. She's definitely going to be getting up after that one. So now the hero's just that little bit closer to being more legendary, more renowned, and above all, the hero of all heroes.
Basically, as you can see now, the hero is now being greeted by the villagers, thanking him for saving their lovely picnic area. From here on the stats screen, you'll be able to see the renown, the money, and most of all, the trophy that you got, which is, of course, the wasp.
But Jeff, by far the coolest thing you can do with your trophies is show them off to people. You know, when you've got a nice car, you show it off to people. When you've got a nice trophy, you want to show it off to people, see how they react to it. In this case, they'll applaud you. If it's a bad trophy, well, you might get a couple of boos. Also in Fable, there's something called expressions, so you can show them your gratitude by, you know, letting off a little win.
And on that bum note, we're going to move ahead now and see what the hero's like a little bit later on.
Now, for those of you that played Fable 1, you may remember this region, Fisher Creek. In Fable 1, the fisherman needed your help. Now he needs your fish. Having read through all the forums and gathering all the public's feedback from Fable 1, a common suggestion was to expand on fishing. So we thought, how about having a fishing competition for the Lost Chapters?
This is my hero. He's got blonde hair, as you can see. This is because he's gone down the path of righteousness. I also got him decked out in the latest Will User gear. I've taken off the top layer, so basically he's got his bare chest, which can show off the scarring, show off the tanning as well as you go out in the sun. And also, you can, when you put tattoos on, the villagers would always comment on it.
Yeah, Jeff, your hero looks alright, but wait till you see my hero in the next quest. Back to the quest at hand. We now got a fish, which we caught earlier, which we're going to give to this fisherman to try and win the competition. The question is it going to be big enough? Now, we now know the size. We're going to enter it into the competition. With a little bit of luck, we'll win. Well, it looks like our fish was big enough, and we've won the first prize, which is one of Albion's finest fisherman hats. In the Lost Chapters, there are loads of new hats, all the way from chicken hats to demon helms. With that amount on offer, what hat will you wear?
Also, the other thing the hero has won is a better fishing rod and a silver key that would open up the silver chests that you find across Albion.
Now, moving on to the third and final part, we're now going to be situated in Hook Coast, which again was a region in Fable 1, but now has a whole different meaning. This new quest is called the Ship of the Drowned and continues on from where Fable 1 left off. So to get to Hook Coast, the hero is teleported there. This is via a colour skate. Colour skates are really useful in Fable, as it just saves a lot of time of always having to walk to places, especially as now we've got all this new content.
I'll just leave it to you, sir. Good day.
The guard's now giving the hero a heads up on what's happened. The town's been evacuated, but usually this town would have been fully populated with people. It's got a tavern, it's got shops, you can get married, you can rent houses to people. I mean, there's just so much you can do. It really is endless.
The hero's making its way to the lighthouse, but let's stop and have a look at Ted's hero. And yes, Ted, I have to agree, your hero is much better looking than mine. Demonic helmet, demonic armour, look at that, even a new sword.
Not only that, Jeff, but did you also notice the red eyes, the red mist around my feet, the flies around my head? Thankfully it's not like real life, but in Fable you can be whoever you want to be.
Yeah, Ted, enough of the big-headedness. Anyway, meanwhile, back to the quest. The hero is now making his way up the lighthouse stairs where he's going to insert the fire heart which he got from a previous quest. The fire heart has now been activated, and as you can see from this cutscene, it blows out the windows. The hero stands back in amazement. He now looks behind him where he sees one of the rival heroes, which is Briar Rose. Briar Rose is one of the heroes that you saw originally in Fable 1, but never got to see much of her.
Sorry to interrupt you there, Jeff, but we've got more important things at hand. This is the new summoner, but we don't want to shade too much, so I think it's best if we leave it there.
It's a shame we have to stop it there, but there's so much more, from like 9 new levels, 16 new quests, more expressions, more clothing, more adventure.
The PC version is already in shops now, but the Xbox version will be out on the 18th of October. From us here at Lionhead, we hope you enjoy the game as much as we enjoyed making it.
Hi, I'm Pete.
I'm Mike.
And I'm Alex, and this is Need for Speed Most Wanted. This is the Xbox version, but don't worry, because the Xbox 360 version, disappointingly, is pretty much the same. Well, I'm pretty sure most of you are familiar with Need for Speed now. This one, well, the good news is that it's the best one that we've done so far. It's smoother, it's got some nice touches, a very good soundtrack, but it doesn't really bring anything amazing new to the table. It's no Burnout still, that's for sure.
No, I mean I've had a brief go on this game, and it's, as far as Xbox races go, it's a competent racer. It works, it does everything that it needs to, and it looks kind of nice. But that said, I've got a lot of problems with it. The handling I can't handle. It's like the cars can literally just turn on the spot. It seems you've got this whole sort of bullet time, sort of slow-mo cornering sort of thing that you can do, and there's really no need for it because you can literally be going high speed and just go around any corner anyway. It's almost there. It's literally sort of style over substance. One thing I am grateful for is they've got rid of that whole underground street racing sort of feel to it, and wow, that was just horrible for me. I can't deal with that.
It is less nauseating and sort of less in-your-face urban crew than the previous iterations, which we can only be thankful for. Well, I mean, what is good about it, though, is the interaction with the coppers. I mean, generally you're racing other people, but you also got the traffic police on your ass as well. And, they'll cut in with the radio and with status reports on how you're doing, and they'll say, oh, you're in a red Volkswagen or you're in a black, whatever it is. So it does feel like they're really chasing you, and they'll sort of react around you and try and box you in and stuff. So, it's well presented in that sense.
Yeah, I mean, I've got to say the audio in the game is fantastic. Like you say, with the police radios and things, always giving you constant updates on what's going on. And the sound's great. It's like once you get into a police chase, once the police are on your back, the sound and the music really kicks in and really makes you feel like you've just got to get out of there, just straight away because you're in some sort of danger. It's got loads of neat, tiny little effects as well, like this, which just adds to the sort of intensity of the game, which is kind of cool.
I could see the appeal to this game, and I'm sure it will sell loads, but it's not something I personally want to have in my collection. I think there are many games that are better out there, from Burnout even to LA Rush. I think offers just a bit more oomph to this. It is good fun, but it's very slow when you look at the sense of speed. I think it's not.
That's it.
Yeah.
You really don't get the intensity of shooting down the motorway at 100 miles an hour. You don't feel that at all. That said, as far as Xbox races go, it's quite nice. If you're looking at the 360 version, which really only looks like a sort of high-res version of what you're seeing now, I really would probably save your money for Gotham. It's not Gotham, basically. That's it. Gotham's caused a lot of problems for a lot of people, and I think Need for Speed's going to feel it the most.
Code 6 is in custody. Secure the scene. Supervisor en route. Advise if we need a record.
Hi, I'm Pete.
I'm Alex.
And I'm Mike. And have you ever had a dream that seems so real that you're unable to tell the difference between the dream and the real world? Well, maybe you have, but that's got absolutely nothing to do with this new game, Path of Neo. It's a new Matrix game. Obviously, the idea is that it's going to be the Matrix game that Enter the Matrix should have been and never was. You now get to play as Neo, finally, which is kind of an obvious choice, really, when you think about making a Matrix game. And the idea is that you can play through all of the best moments from all three of the Matrix movies, with a few added sort of crap levels that they've put in just to bulk it out or make you feel like you've spent £40 on something that's actually worth playing. As you can see by looking at the footage you're seeing now, it looks bloody horrendous.
What I really don't like about this, and you see it come up in quite a lot of games, on FIFA Street, ironically, as well. But it's this whole, you've got these crazy punch moves, and all the moves are well flashy, but they just have no correlation to what you're actually doing on the pad. It's like, yeah, you're putting off a couple of combos and you know what you're doing, but it's like hitting A doesn't seem to correspond to running up somebody's body, throwing them into a wall and kicking him in the face.
Sure.
It doesn't match up.
That's it. I mean, it's an odd game. I mean, I've been playing this game for a little while now, and I do really enjoy it, but then in the same respect, there's so much wrong with it. All of the little problems that are in Enter the Matrix, all the little sort of sound glitches and the odd graphical bug, they're all still apparent. You'd think they'd be gone after, Shiny spending so much time making Matrix games, and you'd think they'd learn from some of the mistakes they made with the first one. It seems as though they haven't. It's an ambitious project. It's a game that almost cries out to be on next-gen technology, and yet for some reason it's finding itself stuck on the Xbox. Why that is, I honestly couldn't tell you. The flip side of that is, it is fairly enjoyable to play. The license carries it a hell of a long way. The Matrix is cool. Everyone thinks the Matrix is cool. And there's something about just sort of running up people's bodies in slow motion and slamming them into a wall and seeing the wall collapse behind them that does just look very cool, and it is very satisfying to do. However, you don't play a lot of it. Like you were saying with the control system, it's not, you don't ever feel like you're truly in control. And they've gone a long way to take it further than Enter the Matrix, where you literally had no control. And they just haven't gone further enough. It's still far too much of just an interactive movie that doesn't quite look as good as the movie. Another thing they've done is they've re-recorded all the dialogue. They've got all the proper actors in to record the dialogue for all the characters. But instead of using the actual clips from the movie and the ones you're used to and used to saying, they've re-recorded them. But it's like the actors didn't care. They were just doing, it's a video game, I'll just repeat the line without any conviction. And it just doesn't work. It just seems just cheap. So it's odd. It's fun to play, and if you like The Matrix, then you're bound to love the game, and it is still infinitely better than Enter the Matrix. But that said, I don't know, £40?
You wouldn't, would you?
You wouldn't want to. It's too late. Does anyone care about The Matrix now?
Well, it seems to have been put together with little rhyme and reason, and I think there's been a lot of that on the Xbox now. I think whenever something gets accepted by a next-gen console, they seem to get it in the head that they don't need to try so hard, like, it's only on a little Xbox. The Xbox is still a powerful piece of kit. For some of the bugs to be in this game is inexcusable, especially this late in the console's life cycle.
まっすぐ打ち抜く。いらっしゃい、落ちるけ。行かせてあげる。覚悟を決めたわ。
Second and 4. Ball on the 39-yard line.
Four-man defensive front this time.
Red 20.
Hand it off to the back. Jeff there. He's looked strong early. And look at it right off.
Welcome to the show. The home of the last seconds. Get ready. Welcome to the show. Y'all better get ready up in here.
Okay, Rubble. Rubble was another character that was kind of a joke to begin with in many respects. We wanted a very unique looking and controlling rock-based character. Somebody at work suggested a pile of bricks, and we kind of took that on board and thought, well, okay, that sounded like a good enough challenge for us, so we actually managed to try to see that one through to completion. So here we have Rubble, literally a pile of rocks. He's got the shotgun move actually in action there. When you power that up, it's incredibly devastating against the trolls. These shield trolls normally are very, very difficult to take out, but with the shotgun move it makes them a lot easier. Here we have Rubble throwing the stones off, and the trolls actually reacting. If you look very closely, you'll see the stones actually stick into the trolls as well if you manage to upgrade that effectively. Here we go, the shotgun move again, very, very good at getting rid of lots of trolls very quickly.
There's three main aspects of playing this game. You get to run your own movie studio, you get to make your own movie stars, and then you get to shoot the movies that you want to see.
Okay, people, I'm out of here. Nice talking to you all, but I've got a date to the stake.
Any interaction that you want to have happen in the lot, whether you want to start a script being written or build a facility or do something with your stars, it's as simple as picking them up where they are and moving them over to where you want them to be. As we can see here, we've got a set up. It's a city street, and we've got some facilities like a laboratory, which will allow you to research new technologies to use in your movies, a production office where you can choose how much money you want to spend on the release, whether you want it in just a few theaters or thousands of theaters, We've got script writing offices, casting facilities, and all of these facilities and sets will allow your machine to keep rolling as you create the masterpiece for the adoring public. You're going to need a script, obviously. So what we're going to do is grab a writer, bring them over here to the script office, and hire them to write a script. We've got a choice here of a couple of different genres. We're going to go ahead and write an action script, and it's really just that simple. Or you can get a little bit more hands-on as an auteur and come over to the custom movie making office and go to the advanced movie maker, where you have full control over every aspect of your movie. First and most important thing that you'll need for making a movie is your stars. Here are 2 lead actors, as we chose, already cast. And this is what the camera's actually going to see. This is the scene that we're casting. You can see the extras in the background. Maybe we want to cast one of our other stars here in one of these roles. And here she comes. If we want to, we can maybe change her costume. There's enormous amount of costumes to choose from, broken down to categories, so it is easy to find. We're going to look through and find something a bit more everyday here. We can zoom in here and see one of the stars actually moving around on the studio lot. We can also access any of them through the star cards here along the left side of the screen. Looks like one of our stars has fallen asleep on a bench here. Looks like he's having a bit of a problem with the drink. As the studio boss, we're going to have to take care of this. So we're going to put this guy into rehab, hopefully get him back on top of his game. And it's important to note that what happens in the facilities isn't as simple as clicking a button. He's really going to go through rehab here. He's not going to be available for other movies. He's going to go and step into his closet here, and he's going to sit there and dry out. And hopefully when he comes out on the other end, he's going to be ready to shoot his next film. 2 of the important things to keep track of with your stars are their stress levels and their boredom levels. If you work them too hard, cast them in too many movies, send them out on too many press junkets, they're going to get overstressed. On the other hand, if you aren't keeping them at least a little busy, they're going to end up pretty bored and looking for other ways to keep themselves occupied. So you want to make a movie. You can go in and choose which sets and which scenes and build your movie shot by shot from beginning to end. We'll choose a set here and then start scrolling through our list of scenes. There are thousands and thousands of different scenes. And here's the 3D set. It's not pre-recorded and pre-rendered. This is the real full set with all sorts of extra roles, all sorts of lead roles. We can choose the time of day. We'll put this at maybe a dusk setting. Can add some rain, though they're certainly not dressed for it. We could change that, but maybe some fog. And then maybe the most important part of this whole movie making process is to actually get in there as the director and adjust the scene. Get to go in and adjust the sliders. For this scene, we have an option of the mood. Maybe she's sad, or she's extremely happy, or she's angry at him, or they're both arguing with each other, or maybe he's apologizing, or she is. As you can see, they really are filming this on the set. So all those scenes that you chose and tweaked as much as you could, they're really going to happen right in front of you. This is the post-production screen, where you get a chance to take your finished movie and really put it together for the adoring audience to see. In those, you'll see exactly what the camera saw as it was filming on set. You have the ability to go in and adjust the scenes. Let's say we didn't want to catch this last moment here. We'll just pause the scene right there, click the split scene button, and now the scene ends right where we want it to. And the most fun aspect of this post-production process is the ability to render these movies out to share with other people online, be able to send them to your friends. And that's really how simple it is to make a movie. Just a couple of quick steps and you've got your masterpiece ready to be before the adoring public.
Hi, I'm Pete.
I'm Alex.
And I'm Mike, and this is Cameo, Elements of Power on the Xbox 360. What can we say about Cameo? I mean, there's so much there to talk about, and yet, hey, I've no idea where to start. It looks fantastic, as you can see from this footage. I mean, even in standard def, the game is absolutely astonishing. Basically, Cameo, you're this little fairy girl thing that can transform into various different creatures that you rescue throughout the game. And in turn help you progress with their little abilities that they have. This one in particular is Pummelweed. It seems to be some sort of boxing plant, which I'm sure makes perfect sense in the rare offices, maybe not so much in your own home. Guys, what do you think?
Well, it's kind of come up on us as a bit of a surprise, really, because I don't think many of us were really expecting an awful lot from it. But when you actually get down to it, it is quite fun to play. I think at times it suffers a little bit from the level design because it feels like all you're doing a lot of the time is morphing from one thing to another. For example, there's a sort of armadillo character ball come hybrid thing that you need to get up these silly little ramps. You can't just walk up them, and that gets a little bit annoying. But when it's good, it's very good. When it's bad,
yeah, no, it does force you in many ways to use each character. Like you say, there are bits you just simply cannot do without using a specific character, which it's it's a perfectly good idea, in terms of gameplay. But it's also restrictive with the things you want to do. You just can't unless you're that character. This is co-op mode, which was quite a late addition into the game, as far as I know, wasn't it? They unveiled it very, very last minute, and it works surprisingly well. I mean, co-op makes every game just that little bit more fun, anyway, just so you can go through it with your missus or your slightly gaming incompetent friend or brother, whatever. But it's quite good fun.
What I like with co-op modes is where you can actually interact with each other through the various monsters. And I was playing with Nellis, and he was some sort of oil-spreading monster thing, and
is
I was
that
a dragon.
in the game or actually? Yeah.
No, that wasn't at home.
Okay.
But yeah, so he went up to his enemies and sort of splurted oil all over them. Then I came on my dragon, breathed fire, and we all set light and we took out loads of them.
Yeah, see, it's little bits like that really make Cameo stand out. It's just, it's one of those games, I don't know, I think maybe everyone got a little bit tired of Cameo. Obviously, it's been in development for such a long time now, starting off as, was it a Nintendo 64 game initially, and then...
Sinclair, I don't know.
I don't know.
And then old as time itself.
It was on Xbox, right, when we saw Xbox code of this as well, and now it's finally Xbox 360. And it looks like it's worth the wait. It may not be for everyone. It's got that sort of cutesy kiddie appeal that maybe some people might find is not their cup of tea, but it's worth giving a go. It's one of those games, until you've played it and really sort of sat down for a little while with it, you're not really going to know how you personally feel about it and whether it's a game for you.
It's not immediate either. It's something that you really have to give a bit of time, I think. But full marks to any game where you can just spike ogres on your back and then beat their mates round ahead with them.
Well, that's it. That's one of the things that we've been discussing in the office, is that it's got a kind of tech demo feel to it, hasn't it? With all the different creatures and the way they morph and everything, the way everything works, it feels very much like almost a demonstration of the 360 capabilities as opposed to an actual game in its own right.
It's no 99 Nights, though, which is basically just one big tech demo. There is an enjoyable game underneath it, but sometimes you do get a feeling, like you do with many launches, that they're putting things in just because they can.
Hi, I'm Mike.
I'm Pete.
And I'm Alex, and this is Amped 3, which is a launch title for the Xbox 360. It's, as you'll be able to see, it's a lot more accessible than Amped 1 and Amped 2, which are very straight-laced games. This one's gone in a bit more of a wacky direction. But apart from that, it's pretty much the same, only more of it.
Yeah, I must admit, for me, sort of snowboarding games have never really done it. I always found that skateboarding games give you a little bit more freedom, obviously, with the fact that you're not going just downhill solidly. What does sort of Amped 3 bring to the table that's new,
Well, it's not fair to compare it directly with SSX because they're different, there's a different feel to it. With the SSX, it's always about the racing, it's always tied to this one. It's a bit more, the mountain's yours, you can put things down everywhere. As you go unlocking it, you can just get ramps, buses that you can grind on, just silly things, and just stick them wherever. But as I said in my review, it's a little bit counterproductive because the mountains are so big that sometimes it feels you're just not making a difference by putting things down. So it's very disappointing in that way. But having said that, it is good fun if you're into snowboarding games just to go around and have this huge mountain, but there's not an awful lot to it. Once you've fiddled around with it, there's little to make you sort of inclined to unlock the later levels.
One of the main differences I think we're seeing now, and we saw at the intro, was a movement that seems to be infecting a lot of boarding games from Tony Hawk's and SSX and now Amped. Is this sort of trendy, wacky Americanisation, jackass presentation?
Very Night Swim, if you've seen that, MTV. It's I think Amped pulls it off a lot better. than SSX does. The cutscenes are really strong in it, but it's just when it all, when you're actually playing it, it's when it starts to fall apart a little bit.
I do get the feeling that you start playing as a bunny rabbit and you've got characters called you dog and stuff, and it sort of masks the fact that they're not really progressing the game in other areas.
I mean, it looks great. I mean, it does. I mean, as we were saying earlier, in high def, it really does look fantastic. In standard def, it's probably doesn't look a great deal better than any real sort of Xbox incarnation. But obviously, you've got the natural benefits of being on 360 with the draw distances and things, and it really does just go on for miles. And in fact, the map, you were showing me the map yesterday on where you select your courses and things. You can zoom in on it all, and it's literally the whole mountain that you've got there, and you can see every route you could possibly take. Another thing I found from doing it is, this is me playing, and obviously I'm dreadful at every game ever known, ever created. But it is quite easy to play. It's not one of those games where you pick it up and you instantly can't do any moves or can't even progress to any degree. It is quite easy for anyone to pick up and play, which is obviously going to be a good thing on such a sort of specialised area of game.
That's what, when I met the producer, said that the idea was to actually make it a lot more accessible, and they've made changes to controls. For example, to grind, you don't actually have to press anything to attach on, you just concentrate on the tricks now, and it's little changes like that which have made all the difference. And I find that once you actually get involved and better at it, there is a lot more to doing the tricks than there is in the SSX games, but if I had to pick one or the other, I'd pick SSX, because it's just tighter and it's just a lot more thrilling than this, basically.
Rated E10 for ages 10 and up.